Herzlich willkommen zum Messe TV hier auf der Learntec Karlsruhe. With me right now, Dr. Honey. You had a key speech. How was it? What is the topic?
I was talking about why it's important to give learning some tender, loving care. In other words, I was trying to persuade people that learning should not be taken for granted. It should be something which is built into workplaces so that it becomes a way of life, and people are encouraged to learn and supported in their learning.
The business is going further, the technology is going further and further, so there's much more possibility to transport. But what is also important is the inside, right? Not just the technique. So what is the future in this?
Just let me say one thing about that, though, because I'm as I explained, I'm primarily interested in learning as a process. In other words, what's happening in here, when people are learning. Not so much in the delivery mechanisms. And of course, there are some really exciting delivery mechanisms, and that's great, because the more delivery mechanisms there are, the more possibilities there are to help people learn. But I am interested in that, of course, but I am even more interested in what happens in order for people to be effective learners and to take full advantage from all the opportunities there are to learn. For example, one of the things I was particularly talking about this morning was less, you'll be disappointed with this, less the technology, more the business of everyday learning from experience, learning from mistakes we make, learning from the things that happen to us in the course of a normal day at work, and taking full advantage, squeezing all the learning out of those events, those happenings, whether they're nice or nasty and so on. So, of course, the technology is exciting. It increases the learning opportunities, which I'm all in favor of, but I'm more interested in how people learn rather than what they learn.
But talking about this topic, how important is it that the Learntec, the trade fair, and the congress around giving the possibility that two fields are coming together? So the technology is talking to the people who are putting something into the technology. How important is it?
It's very important, because for me, you see, that's an example of making learning more available. I was describing it this morning as building learning into the system so that it becomes a way of life rather than something exceptional. I'm very interested, for example, in people not having to go to classrooms to learn, but in learning in the workplace. And the more you have e-learning and all the technological advances, the more that makes workplace learning possible, rather than people having to go on a course or on some formal, period of instruction and so on, which, of course, they also have their part to play, but not as important as getting learning into the workplace so that people are doing it on an everyday basis.
Dr. Honey, it was a great pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much, and have a nice day here. Take a look around and see what is happening on the Learntec in Karlsruhe.
It looks very exciting. Thank you very much.